All right, so we are here. We are at the Great Wolf Lodge, Anaheim, in Southern California. Technically, I think this is in Garden Grove, but we're right at the border. And we are down here for the weekend. It is the weekend before Christmas, 2025. And we're here for Xander's birthday. He loves this place, so this is where he wants to go for his birthday every year. This is only our third time, but he absolutely loves this. So this place was built in 2016, and Great Wolf Lodges, oh man, there's probably 20. The last time I looked, they're all over the whole country. So it's definitely a chain, if you will. This is a gigantic resort. So this is the parking structure right here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 5 levels of parking. And it gets pretty packed, especially the first 3 levels. And sorry, I'm standing on the street, so there's a lot of cars driving by. It's Harbor Boulevard, so it's super busy. And then there is, and we'll take a look at this in a minute inside, but there's a rather large lobby, there's restaurants, there's markets and gift shops, and just various areas, including sort of a lower level that has an arcade and I'll call it mini bowling. It's not, traditional bowling, it's the small version. And then the water park is that gigantic building over here behind the Great Wolf statue. And you can kind of see some of the water slides. They come out of the building and then come back in. And we'll take some video of the water park in a few minutes. All right, it is Christmas time, as I mentioned, and there are decorations everywhere. I'll try and show some of that. There's one tree there. There's a gigantic tree over there. It must be 30 feet tall. That fireplace is always there, and it's also decorated. I don't remember it being on in the summertime, but I don't know, maybe it is. Anyways, lots of things to do here, big open spaces. It is pretty much crowded in every area all the time. Maybe not at midnight, but it's really difficult to film anything without a bunch of people in view. But just gonna show you some of the lobby area. That's the check-in desk over there. Do yourself a favor, and if you can take care of what you need to do ahead of time, like checking in on your phone before you get here, that would be a better idea. That line is usually lengthy and takes a long time to get through. This is one of the restaurants here, Loose Moose. You can see it's quite large. And when we walked in last night, nearly all of these tables were full. We also have a bar area over there. And this is the 3rd floor up here. There's really no reason to be up here unless you're at a conference. But part of the Magic Quest game does bring you up to the 3rd floor. So if you're doing the Magic Quest game with your kids, you'll definitely come up here. And then this is probably the best view. There's a area on the 2nd floor that looks out onto the water park, but there's always people there, so this is probably the better view. So as far as the water park is concerned, they've got a wave pool, and the waves come on, like, I think someone told me every 5 minutes, and then it's off for 5 or 10 minutes, and then it comes back on for 5 minutes, but it's pretty cool. There's a surf rider, flow rider, I think they call it. I'm sure it's trademarked or something, but that's over in the far corner there. And then a lot of the water slides are over there in the corner. And they have various sort of, some are super fast, some are slow, some are single rider, some are like you can get your whole family on there for like 4 people. I think 4 people is the most that'll go on any of these slides. And then there's like a kids area right there, which that Great Wolf Lodge bucket of water is gonna fall out all over everybody. And then there's a small kids area over here. You can get a better view of it through this window. And this is for, like, you know, babies and toddlers. So the water slides are, you can see them over there, 15 feet long kind of a thing. Real simple stuff. There are life vests in a number of different spots. And I think it's a requirement. I see the lifeguards coming out into the wave pool, for example, and telling the kids they need to put a life vest on, and they'll bring it over and help them put it on. So they're pretty good when it comes to that. The lazy river over there, actually everywhere you see the lifeguards monitoring, they are constantly pacing, and it seems like counting people, looking at every face, you know, just to make sure everybody is safe. They're really good about that for obvious reasons. They do have cabana rentals here. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over there on the far end, and there's 4 here. I'm not sure if there's any more anywhere else, but you can rent a cabana. I'm filming this on Sunday. We rented a cabana on Saturday, number 8 over there, right at the end of that water slide, the red and blue water slide. And it's basic. It has a TV, a fan, a safe, a refrigerator. There's a QR code there that you can scan to have a server come take your order and anything else you might need. And we did that. It's very convenient. It comes with towels and whatnot. There were 2 lounge chairs and 4 regular chairs. And I want to say it said the maximum capacity is 8. So, all right. That's the water park in a nutshell. You can get towels right there at the hut. You just gotta scan your bracelet. And I don't think, oh yeah, maybe we just mentioned there's lockers down over there. You can see those, the blue squares on the wall. Those are different sized lockers. So if you're just coming as a day pass, because you can do that, I'm thinking the people that come for just the day and don't spend the night probably use the lockers more than anybody else, because I don't know if you really need a locker if you're staying here, but I guess you could bring stuff down and have it closer to you. And there's food options down here too. This hut right here sells burgers and chicken sandwiches, chicken tenders, and stuff like that. That's the only food option out there, and they also have a soda fountain too. All right. Now we're gonna catch it. That's the Fort McKenzie. I'll zoom in on it a little bit. For the kids. And there's 2 big water slides there. Adults can go on them too. The red and the blue one. But that bucket of water fills up and tips over, and it makes the bell ringing bell noise. And that's the call to action if you want to get dumped on. So we'll just watch it for just another few seconds. Looks like it should be going. And it's a lot of water, by the way. Here it goes. Yeah. And you can hear that all over, the bell ringing. So the kids tend to come running. Also, you can see the wave pool stopped. When it's about to start, it lets out kind of a howl in a way. Maybe it's supposed to sound like a wolf howling, I don't know, but you can hear it all over the whole water park. Another call to action to make it over there. I can't see it from this view, but there is another section off to the left that has like an obstacle course and a net where you try and walk across the water on these little platforms. Always kids in line for that, always, always. And there's also like basketball hoops sort of in the water. I think there were like 4 of them. That's always pretty packed too. All right, let's do a room tour here. All of the entries to your room, you use these bracelets here, and you can get in just by holding that up, which is really nice. So you don't need to carry a key card or anything else around your phone or anything like that. So as far as the room tour is concerned, very small room. I think most of them are generally small. There's different sizes. This is the Wolf Den Suite. Obviously, it got your safety information. I like that. Hibernation hours, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. In other words, be quiet, I'm assuming. That's the nice way of saying it. Just to the left, hangers, spot to put your clothes and things like that. Something to put your suitcase on. This is the sink. There's just one sink, one bathroom in the Wolf Den Suite. I do like the theming, it's pretty cool. The kids love it, that's the most important part. They got a hairdryer there, body lotion, soap, typical stuff. Bathroom. In here, I like that you have plenty of options for hanging towels and most importantly, swimsuits. Since this is a water park, that's why people are here. And just regular bathroom, shower, and whatnot. Water pressure is just okay. It does have a bath in there though. But I think water pressure at most resorts these days, most hotels do not have good water pressure, at least in California. There is a safe, and is that a Keurig? Make coffee. There's I would say it's a mini fridge, but it's a little bit bigger than a mini. I don't know what size you call this, but plenty of storage for drinks and leftover food or whatever. There's 3 drawers here. These are the only 3 drawers to put clothes, but they're pretty deep and they store a lot. I have to imagine most people are not staying here for a week at a time. Maybe they do, but for us anyways, this is our 3rd trip, and each time it's always been, 3 days kind of a thing. And the kids love this. This is the Wolf Den. You can see that right there. It's kind of like their own special area away from the parents. I mean, this room is only maybe 400 square feet, so you're really on top of each other regardless. But it's got bunk beds. They love that. So we got 2 kids, Xander and Olivia, so they share this room, one on the top, one on the bottom. There is power right here. That's the closest power that we could find. So when they wanted to use their iPads, phones, whatever, we had to get a really long cord, which I did bring. I think that's just a table. I don't think that's like a storage or anything like that. But yeah, it's cute. And then this is just the rest of the room. I think that's like a queen size bed, if I'm not mistaken. And there's no nightstand on the one side, although at least there is power. So notice that. I had to kind of set my iPad, iPhone on the floor to charge. Kind of inconvenient, but not quite enough room in here. And then this nightstand, I don't think it's a drawer either. It's just a nightstand, and there is 2 power outlets right there. I don't see any USB connection, so it's just regular power. And this is a pull-out sofa, so I mean, that doesn't look like a queen size. Maybe it is, but it'll sleep 2 more people, so you could technically get 6 people in here. We are on the 9th floor. Let's see if the camera can, there it is. We're on the 9th floor, so we're looking west towards, I guess this is Garden Grove. The hotel is technically in Garden Grove, but they seem to advertise it as the Great Wolf Lodge, Anaheim. For obvious reasons, it is on Harbor Boulevard, and it's just, a mile or so from Disneyland. But it's a really nice view. The other side of the hotel looks east, and it's even nicer. You can see the Crystal Cathedral. I was looking, it now says Christ Cathedral. I don't know if there was a name change or whatnot, but Also, the old block in orange, there's some high rises over there. I think you can kind of make out Anaheim Stadium. So it's kind of a nicer view looking the other way. But this was really cool at night because like nearly every one of these apartments and homes, and I'm not kidding, like almost all of them had Christmas lights up. So it looked really cool at night. It is December. This is the weekend before Christmas. So if you're going to have decorations out, you've got them out at this point. Then there's a little table and chairs. That's where they had Xander's birthday, I guess, presentation set up. The last thing I'll mention is this unit, wall unit right here, doesn't seem to do anything. And then we noticed that the air conditioning and heater it's kind of like the old school kind, so you kind of control it from over here. And we're thinking that's in Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Usually there's a button to change that, but I don't see it. In any case, it does pump out cold air. I can definitely feel it. However, over here in the wolf den portion of the room, the air doesn't really make it over here, so I notice it is warmer in here. So just a heads up on that. I'm thinking maybe they trick people into thinking they're using this to save on electricity or something. I don't know. But anyways, basic room. The TV, I guess that's the last thing. The TV is right there. It's probably 45, 47 inches, something like that. Nothing too big. But I did check and it does extend pretty far out from the wall, probably like 12 inches from the wall. It's got one of those extending TV mounts. All right. So like I said, this is the 9th floor. Goes down quite a ways. This is the way back to the elevators. And then it goes down this way and it goes a little bit to the left, but then off to the right again. Each floor has like a vending and ice area. So in case you care, it's Pepsi products. And you can use your credit card for that. And then you obviously got ice machine, and then vending machine, and the light turns on when you get near it. There must be a sensor. Lots of good snacks there. And then you also have a microwave. And I see people using all of this stuff quite often. And that's cool. Looks like there's a filtration on the water for the ice. All right. All right, this is probably worth mentioning. There is one bank of elevators. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 elevators in total. For the most part, it's pretty quick to get an elevator and get to where you're going. I'm mentioning it because we're on the 9th floor, and there are a couple of times right around when there's checkout and when the water park opens, which is like between 10 and 11, and then 4 p.m. at check-in. Those are 2 times throughout the day that it's pretty tough to get an elevator, so just a heads up on that. So we did the birthday package for Xander. We were here for his birthday, and the full package includes these balloons and some kind of a activity pack right there. Also comes with a birthday cake with obviously plates, napkins, cups, and a pizza. They just give you a coupon for both of those, and then you take it downstairs and turn those in, and there you go. They also did a wrap around the front door, which he was super excited about. It says birthday howls and cheers. So we're leaving that up the whole time. He's super excited about that. And then they also gave him a little birthday greeting card with I believe it's a $10 worth of tokens at the arcade. So yeah, totally worth it. I think it was only $60 or $70. All right. And as far as birthdays are concerned, looks like they have a special room that allows you to maybe rent it out or pay a fee to have a birthday party in here. Definitely birthday parties are a whole thing here. There were a lot of kids wearing birthday buttons, but also on the door wraps that have like, happy birthday or whatever that said. There were, I'd say maybe 10% of the doors, maybe 8 or 9% of the doors had that on it. It was quite a few. There's the 10 Paw, that's the sort of mini bowling game that they've got over here. And then this is, what's it called? Bear Paw Sweets and Eats. They've got shakes and dipping dots and things like that for parents. It's not open right now, but this is sort of like a makeshift bar. They serve wine, beer. I don't know if they do mixed drinks, they might, but they obviously have that here. There is a bar at one of the restaurants upstairs. And outside of that, I think these are the only 2 areas where you can get a drink. Although when we had the cabana yesterday, you could order drinks from the server. So he must have come inside to get that. There is this Berry Central swim shop, and it's through here where you go out to the water park, but they've also got drinks, sandals, swim shoes, swimsuits, towels, all kinds of stuff in case you forget it. Goggles, we bought a couple pairs of those. This is the Build-A-Bear workshop. We didn't do it this time, but we have done it before. So you can build your own bear and get all the accessories. They have clothes and all kinds of other stuff that you can buy, shoes and things like that. Then this is the Magic Quest game. Those are the 3 columns over there that you use to start the game, and the kids love that. And this is where you buy the wands. You pick a wand, and there's a lot of different options, and then you pick like, what did they call it? Like a mod. So this goes on the end of it. And you can pick from any of these here. And it took us probably 45 minutes to an hour. Actually, it was at least an hour to complete one of the 4 quests. So if you want to keep your kids busy, that's the way to do it. This is the miniature golf. It's all, it's blacklit. So I don't know how that's coming through on the camera, but it's really cool. And your balls are all like, yellow, orange, colors that really light up. It's just 9 holes. You can see the hours there. $8 per person per round, but we did the whole family for $25. So as soon as you get over 3 people, it makes sense to do the family rate. And that was fun to do. And this end is just more Magic Quest stuff. So then you get into the arcade here to the left. It's not gigantic, but there's a lot of fun stuff in there for the kids, and definitely enjoyed coming here. Typical basketball games, Jurassic Park, see that everywhere. They have skee ball in there, and I think there's even a virtual reality game. Anyways, another way to keep the kids busy. There's lots of activities to do, as you can see, besides just the water park. And then this is the Hungry as a Wolf pizza. They have other stuff in here too, but this is like where everybody goes to get pizza, and they got drinks and stuff in there too. All right, this is really cool. They have a spot here for picture taking for your family or whatnot. I see a lot of people stopping by here. I'm not sure what's here when it's not Christmas. I don't remember. But nice way to take Christmas photos. This is the second of the sit-down restaurants, which is a large wood-fired grill. And I'll say the food was not that bad. It bested our expectations. I mean, it's not excellent food by any means, but it was better than we thought it was going to be. And that kind of connects to the other restaurant over here, where you can get breakfast and things like that. And that's the bar area over there. And I've seen that it's buffet, I think, at breakfast time, if I'm not mistaken, at that far end over there. Forgot to mention there is a Dunkin' Donuts. This place is an absolute madhouse in the mornings for obvious reasons. They got breakfast sandwiches, donuts, coffees, all kinds of stuff. So the line gets rather lengthy. They've added like a QR code, as you can see right there, so you can order ahead of time. They also have 2 stations over there to order yourself and 2 stations inside to order yourself probably because of the minimum wage hike for fast food workers. They got rid of that expense and just added some do-it-yourself. But it does take time because, you know, for example, if you're ordering a breakfast sandwich, there's different tabs for meats, different tabs for cheeses, different tabs for the kind of bread you want. Do you want it toasted? It just, especially when everybody's ordering for kids too, it can take a long time, so just be prepared for that. All right, as we wrap up this video, we're gonna try and make this short. My final thoughts are pretty much this. If you've never been here, it's definitely worth at least one trip. It is always crowded, kind of wherever you go, in the water park and inside the hotel at all the various activities and whatnot. If that doesn't bother you, then you're golden. If it does, then you just got to learn to deal with it, but it's definitely worth at least one trip to see. The kids absolutely love this place, especially Xander. He would probably live here if he could. The rates, they are always having specials. Every time you log in, or if they get a hold of your email address, you'll be getting emails for specials probably every week or thereabouts. That's not an understatement, and it's just to know that there's always some kind of a deal going on. So look for those or sign up for those emails if you want to do it that way. There's 2 of these in Southern California. So this one is in Anaheim, and I think there's another one north of LA. So this one probably covers, you know, this area southward to San Diego as far as like people visiting. And then LA, obviously, getting those clientele. Obviously, this kind of goes without saying, everybody here has got family, so lots of kids running around. And I've seen some rather large groups, like families traveling together kind of a thing. So that happens. And anyways, yeah, this is our 3rd trip. We'll probably be back at some point. Not sure if we'll have it every year or not. The air conditioning just kicked off, so it got a little quiet. But definitely worth a trip, especially if you can get a room rate, you know, $300 a night. That's definitely worth it. But just be aware, the water park is included in that price, but be aware that there's a lot of other expenses that go along with it. Parking, you're gonna spend money on food, and you know, the kids are gonna want Build-A-Bear and the arcade and go bowling and the Magic Quest and all the different things that you can do. So just watch that because it can add up quickly, or at least plan for it. All right, that'll do it. See you guys later.